So what we're going to be doing, we're going to part 2 of Jamie Marchi's brief, the one that was filed on the other day. Obviously yesterday we went through mostly just what was going on, the arguments for and against. So what we're going to go today is the arguments and authorities. I've had a quick look through these as well, and there's a couple of things which are a bit like, right, okay, I see where you're going. So we're just going to read through it and I'll give my opinion at the end. So, arguments and authorities. The TCPA exists to encourage and safeguard the constitutional rights of persons to speak freely, associate freely, not at the moment, to the maximum extent permitted by law. It protects citizens who speak on matters of public concern from retaliatory lawsuits that seek to intimidate or silence them. The two-step process of the TCPA, so with this one here, straight away, he's just going through, this is what a TCPA means. And to me, first of all, I'd be like, so you're telling me how to do my job now, you're telling me what I already know. This lawyer, he is literally, I will admit, some of the stuff he's put into this brief and document is like, right, okay, he's much better than Monica and Ron's lawyer, 100%. Obviously, it goes through all of this, so VM does not raise a point of error as to the trial's court's findings that TCPA applies to his claims, or that he is a public figure, and thus has waived any argument to the contrary. So it goes on about all this kind of stuff. Then we got issue number 1. The trial court's dismissal of VM's claim for defamation against Jamie Marchi is not reversible error. VM wholly failed to establish by clear and specific evidence a prima facie case for each essential element of his defamation claim against Jamie Marchi. In order to meet his burden, VM was obligated to put forth clear and specific evidence that Jamie Marchi published a statement of fact, the statement referred to him, the statement was defamatory, the statement was false, with regard to the truth of the statement, Jamie Marchi acted with actual malice, and F, the statement caused VM injury. So, with all of this, you can see now what this lawyer is trying to do. He's literally saying, well, all these tweets, they're not directed at him. But the thing is, though, the people Jamie Marchi is responding to, they're the ones who ask questions or whatever about VM. So, again, I can see where this lawyer's coming from. If judges and the actual jury, if there is one for this, the people who look it over, if they see the tweets that Jamie Marchi has responded to with these tweets mentioned, then they should get a pretty clear picture. But this guy's not doing that. So, VM cites two specific excerpts from only 3 tweets by her in his brief, which are attached to various TCPA motions, not to his response. The first is an undated tweet. So, with that there, I don't know how you can have an undated tweet. I really don't, because all tweets have a date on them, every single one. With this here, you could easily go and find the tweet, unless she's deleted them and they haven't been archived. The second is a tweet dated February 7th last year, in which Jamie Marchi speaks generally about, generically, about her feelings and opinions without naming VM, the February 7th tweet. The third is the tweet in which Jamie Marchi describes what VM did to her, the February 8th tweet. So, statement of fact about VM. For a statement to be actionable, it must expressly or impliedly assert facts that are objectively verifiable. VM does not explain how or why a reasonable fact finder would conclude that either the undated tweet, it's just that one there, because he keeps going, you'll see. Or the February 7th tweet contain assertions of fact. He also misrepresents the nature and context of some of her statements. With that part there, then, you could actually use that argument then for VM against Jamie Marchi. You literally can, because he said he just touched her hair and she said he grabbed it. So again, that is literally, she misrepresented it. That's what we can say about it. And it's very interesting that this guy would go on and keep using undated tweet throughout the actual arguments. The generic reference in the undated tweet to VM being a bad person is not a statement of fact, And VM even admitted in his deposition that the statement doesn't carry implication that he is a criminal. VM also doesn't point to any evidence establishing whether or not the concept that he is a bad person is objectively verifiable. Such a statement, though, certain reeks of subjectivity. As a matter of law, the undated tweet cannot be said to contain a statement of fact, and VM has not met his burden to show otherwise. They keep going on and saying now, like literally, yeah, she doesn't mention his name. How does he know it's against him? It's literally what we're saying in the past year. He said, she said. Everything that we have seen, everything we have heard, and this is exactly what it's come to now. VM expressly admits that the February 7th tweet does not contain a statement of fact and that the tweet doesn't reference him. As a matter of law, the February 7th tweet cannot be said to contain a statement of fact, and VM again has not met his burden to show otherwise. All they need to show is what she's responding to, and those tweets around that time. Because everything that we have seen her reply to has been these tweets that they're mentioning. You know, I want his balls, he's this, he's that, he done this to me. Everyone's like, well, we know exactly what you're talking about here. And again, this lawyer, he's probably done all of this and said, and he's probably hoping that the people they get who are going to, judge over all of this, they may not have seen or read or looked into it too deeply. Though the VM quotes Jamie Marchi in the February 8th tweet as having stated that VM had done this exact thing to half a dozen other people, personally knows, and he's a... So straight away, that is there, the statements are not statements of fact when viewed in context. So, again, they're literally saying, oh, well, she's not stating a fact, Your Honour. That's exactly what it is, and it's probably the best way that this lawyer's gone through it. He's saying, oh, it's not a statement of fact, but Toye can also say it's not a statement of fact. Everything that she has said is not true, and everything that she has said, we're suing her because she has called him this, which she has. That is evidence right in there. But the way that these people go about all of this, it's not going to go well. Jamie Marchi stated that she heard accounts of him doing this exact thing to half a dozen other people that she personally knew. Where are those people? Can we get them to come in and testify? Similarly, VM misstates the nature of her use of the words this. Jamie Marchi's tweet ends with a message to anyone who ever goes through a similar experience and is a cautionary tale to anyone who finds themselves in an uncomfortable situation similar to what she experienced. It does not make reference to VM or what he did to her, nor is it inserted as a statement of fact. With regard to these excerpts from the February 8th tweet, Jamie Marchi did not make a statement of fact referring to him. Not defamatory. A statement has a defamatory meaning only if its meaning is unambiguous in the minds of ordinary readers, without reference to any meaning attributed to it by the plaintiff or defendant. VM's only explanation regarding the alleged defamatory nature of any of her tweets is that falsely accusing someone of a crime or of this is the defamation per se. None of her tweets fit into either category. Yes, they do. Because she's gone on and said, he's this, he's the predator, But people see that, which is what you had Montello, Renfamous, all these people, they were sending these tweets from Jamie Marchi, Monica and all that to all these conventions saying, this is what he's done. And those conventions are gone, yeah, we don't want him. That's exactly what it is. That she has literally gone into it and she has done assassination for his character. That's exactly what she's done. And he's gone on then to say, basically, oh, this is what it is. But it's very interesting to see how this lawyer has gone about his work. Because everything he has done and said on this, it's literally to say, well, she doesn't mention him. He can't say anything about it. That's why I think she should be free. That's exactly it. But he doesn't mention Monica or Ron or anything in this. It's all about Jamie Marchi. And to be honest with you, I can see Jamie Marchi being thrown out again. Literally just not being bothered with. The statement in the February 7th tweet contains absolutely no context to explain why Jamie Marchi was upset with whomever she was writing about. And don't even contemplate touching on criminality or serious misconduct. She could just as easily have been distraught over a bad loss of Scrabble as over having her hair yanked down and control of her own body taken from her. It's just annoying. But again though, this is what the guy gets paid for. This lawyer, this is what his job is. He's there and he's literally saying, yeah, everything that he said doesn't say, that she's this. Everything she has wrote in these tweets doesn't mention him, which they don't. But the tweets that she's replying to, this is the issue. People need to read them and see what's going on around that entire time frame. They need to see other tweets that she has interacted with. But this lawyer will say that's, that doesn't even concern her. But they do, because that's who she's replying to. And say, just going through it literally, we're going to skip down to this part by here. As to the February 8th tweet, VM surprisingly claims to have specifically denied that he grabbed her hair, yanked her head back and whispered. See, it's gone from whispered dispute to whispered. Let's take a look. Question: Miss Marchi certainly wouldn't be the first woman whose hair you've pulled. No, we've established that. So is it possible that Miss Marchi perceived pain when you pulled her hair in the lobby that day and that you were unaware of that? I had no indication when it happened that there was anything offensive or painful about it. VM's own testimony establishes, at a minimum, that Jamie Marchi's statement that he grabbed her hair and yanked it back is not false. So, you can see that straight away with all of that, and... Right, I haven't got long hair, but I know for a fact, when someone pulls your hair, it hurts. No doubt about it, it hurts. Because... It's this, the roots, it's nerve endings and the roots, this is what it is. And if you've got long hair, literally, I leaned on my ex's hair by accident. She, and she was like, I heard that. When I was young, I used to pull my sister's hair, and she used to scream. So it's literally, when you pull someone's hair, it hurts. This is why, as well, in MMA, there is no hair pulling, because it can be literally a natural. So you've got your hair back, you can't move. Literally, unless you rip the scalp. That is it. It's pain no matter what. So are we saying that when VM pulled her hair, there was no pain on her? She didn't go, she didn't muffle any screams, she didn't wince on nothing? Come on. So, when we've gone on from there, so again, he keeps going through the same questions again that went on in VM's deposition. Do you recall if you said anything to her here? I don't recall that I said anything. If I did, it was literally something about, ooh, I love your hair or love it, it's awesome. It was that kind of thing. Would you agree with the statement that the way one person perceives a situation is not always going to be the same way everybody perceives that same situation? Of course. And they're trying to use his own deposition against him, and we've seen this in the past now as well. It's almost like this lawyer, he's looked into it as well, and... We've seen Deux do it, we've seen them all. They literally take little excerpts of VM's deposition and they twist it and they use it to their own narrative. This is exactly what's going on here. But what I'll say, I am going to finish this one here. Say it's not much else really on the thing, it's just a few more of these. I will leave the link again below, so if you want to check this one out, it is there. Tomorrow I will be bringing out the Defamation ones, and we also got the Monica and Ron documents to go through as well. So the next couple of days is mostly going to be about these documents. If you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe, hit that notification bell for future updates, and I'll see all you wonderful people soon.